back to Urban X TV. I'm Malcolm. We have a special guest here who's going to talk about her story and her struggle with MS on the eve of the MS walk that happens in New York City every year. This year is happening on Sunday the 28th, 2019. Okay, so we're going to give you information throughout the show and in the links below so you can sign up and you can support this noble cause. So, without further ado, Nicole Jones, how are you?
I'm good.
So first, I want to start off by getting your entire story. So tell me about where you grew up and how it was growing up for you.
I grew up in the South Bronx. Growing up was a little Bronx girl, growing up in the hood, regular stuff. Went to school. Then shortly after I graduated and took my GED actually.
Okay.
Went to college and got sick one day walking around. Kept bumping into everything on my left side. Didn't understand why.
This is after you graduated?
After I graduated.
Okay.
I was in my first year of college.
Okay.
So I was like 19.
Wow.
It was shocking.
Okay.
Because I was so young.
Right.
What's happening? Went to the doctor. First thing they said was they thought it was lupus.
Okay.
Because most young black women would get lupus, not MS. There wasn't something that was normally happening.
Okay.
So what happened was it kept jumping from eye to eye. I'm blind in the left eye, blind in the right eye, blind in the left eye again.
Okay.
I was in the hospital like every 2 weeks, back and forth, back and forth. They wanted to put me on medication for lupus. I said no. My mom, she worked at Bethesda Medical Center. She's like, you're not going to just put on medicine for anything. We need to find out exactly what it was. And the only way they could do that was by giving me spinal tap.
Okay.
It was painful, but it was worth it because afterwards they told me right away that's what it was.
So can you explain because I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, don't really know what multiple sclerosis is in its entirety. Like we hear the name, we hear what it, we see people with it, but we don't know what it is and what it affects.
Right. It's a neurological disorder. It's a plaque, basically.
Okay.
And what it does is, like, see how you have skin here, and then under the skin is the white meat.
Right.
The MS eats at the skin, trying to get to the white meat.
Oh, okay.
Which affects the nerve, and it won't send the nerve to like all your limbs,
okay,
sight, stuff like that. So then it won't send the message to tell me lift my leg, stretch my arm, squeeze that tight. I won't get the message because it's already, it's tearing up the nerve.
Okay. So, you said this has been affecting you since you were 19?
Yes. Actually, it was affecting me before 19, and we didn't realize that that's what it actually was.
Oh.
So, like, in growing up in high school, I ran track. I would get pains in my legs, real bad pains in my legs, and I didn't know what it was. They said, "Oh, we think you have sickle cell trait." That was the first misdiagnosis.
Okay.
I don't have sickle cell trait. I have, not sickle cell disease. I have the trait, not the disease. Oh, we think you have the disease, and maybe they thought it was the trait, but it's the actual disease. Nope, not the disease. Constantly in the hospital. They say, okay, you need to stop running track. We think that, the movement is too much on your limbs. Really? Like, it's,
It's exercise.
It's exercise. I would think that was better. So, that happened. I used to pass out constantly. And I didn't understand why. Southern people, which my dad is Southern, oh, you've been out in the heat too long. You got heat stroke, baby. Go back inside. So it was different things that was happening that were related to the illness, but I didn't know.
Okay. So you said you found out like you were young. Is that normal for people who usually get MS, or do they find out like when they're older?
Most people aren't diagnosed until they're in their 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that was like a benefit that you kind of knew what it was.
It was definitely a benefit, and that's what I also didn't say. I was pregnant, so after I had my son, that's when I lost my sight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had my first son. I say that, well, both my boys are blessings, and I'm saying that because once I had my son, they said I should never have children, any more children.
Okay.
And 6 years later, I had another child, and was blessed. I'm still here. He's wonderful. My boys, I say those are my saviors.
Wow. Okay. So when you found out because I was under the impression that you found out when you were older. That was what it was. When you found out, what kind of lifestyle changes did you have to make?
What makes a great t-shirt? Is it fashion, fit, comfort? Is it what's printed on the front of the shirt? Whether it's a humorous message, political, or a social statement made to bring awareness to a noble cause? At Urban X TV, we believe that all of those things make a great t-shirt and then some. So we wanted to create a t-shirt line that was a little bolder, a little bit more challenging, one that stepped out of the boundaries. So we decided to introduce to you our not so subtleties. It's one that speaks to the sentiments of what's going on in our environment today. It's one that will spark conversation. So log on to urbanx.nyc to pick up your not so subtleties today, or shop urbanx.com to pick up the latest in urban apparel. We thank you for your support. Peace.
At first, I didn't make any lifestyle changes because I was young.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what MS was. I had never heard of MS before. You know, it wasn't like a illness like, oh, you know, you had cancer, and you're like, oh, she has cancer. You know, you knew it was something. I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up and do research to, you know, become knowledgeable about it. And then at the same time, the things that are in the books and stuff like that couldn't really tell me what I was about to go through because the book didn't experience it.
Right, okay.
You know? And so my mom would say things like, oh, you know, you're going to be fine. You know, Richard Pryor has it. I said, I can't call him. I need, you know, I would like to have someone that I could actually ask a question and get an answer about. So for years it was like, okay, I have this, but you know, I mean, I'm still going out and party. I'm doing this because nothing is changing. I'm still moving the same way. Just every now and again, I have to go to the doctor to fix my sight. Like I was going to get a pair of glasses, but it was a state, you know.
So if you can go back and talk to 19-year-old Nicole, like this is you now, what would you say to her?
I would say to her, slow down a little bit, but you know, you still got to focus on keeping yourself healthier. But I wouldn't tell her to start taking medicine because that was another thing. I didn't try any of the medicines for, I want to say maybe the first 5 years of me knowing that I had it. It took a while for me to say, okay, I'm going to try this medicine because I felt like I was in a matrix. When I found out there were 3 medications, so it was like you pick the red, blue, or green pill, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. It took me actually having what they call an exacerbation, which means like, you know, you're having a relapse or whatever, and then they said you probably will need this. So I ended up taking it. But I take medicine, and if I feel like it's not doing anything, then I'll, you know, try something else. One thing about it is the medicines are, now they're coming up with more medicines, but they have so many side effects. One of the major side effects is called PML, which is a brain disease, a virus, it'll kill you. So a lot of the medicines...
It's a medicine that can cause
a brain virus.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds
And
bad.
most of them have a good all of them have a percentage of you contracting this illness.
Okay.
You know, with the PML. So they have another test that's called the JC test to see if you have a JC virus. If you have the JC virus, then the medicine that you might want to take, you can't take because it'll double cause the PML. Chance of you getting, so either way you have to figure out which you're a better fit for and what the risks are.
Okay. So are there like different stages to MS?
Everyone who has MS has different stages. There are people who have MS 2 years and they're in wheelchairs or they're paraplegic. You know, it takes on a different mask in everyone that, you know, has it. It's different. Some things are similar, like the pains, where the pains happen, the retrobumbilitis when you use your sight. Those things are similar, but how badly it'll affect you is on different levels for everyone. When I first found out, they told me that not to have any more children, and in 10 years I'll be in a wheelchair.
Wow.
And this year be my 25th year known. And I've only been walking with a cane for 2.
Wow.
So
Okay. So I wanted to take a little backtrack because you talked about your boys being like your savior. How has your family, when you found out you had MS, how has your family supported you through this journey?
That's one of the biggest things is family support. And for a while, all I had was family support because me being embarrassed about having the illness, I didn't tell anyone.
Wow, okay.
I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone until you started to realize it, which was my, I believe, 40th birthday.
Okay.
And then I said to people, because they kept asking me, why are you hopping? Why are you, you know? And I said, oh, you know, my leg just bothering me today, or, you know, brushed it off. But at this point, I had to say something. I thanked everyone for all of their support, not knowing what was going on, thinking I was hurt, when at the beginning and end of the day, I had MS, and I've known I had it for years, but wasn't so open to sharing it. You know, it was a thing where, you know, it bothered me. I know people are trying to put their best foot forth when they, you know, when you say you're ill and they're like, oh. So people would always say, oh, I'm so sorry. But in the back of my head, if you ever saw Last Holiday with Queen Latifah,
right,
all in my head, don't feel sorry for me, baby. When she was dying, she was talking. That's what is recorded because, you know, I don't want to share it and get people's pity, even though I understand,
right,
you know, humans are empathetic, but it just is like, okay, we're not going to even say anything. Let's keep it to yourself.
Okay, so you said like you were embarrassed to tell people. Why were you embarrassed? Because MS is not something like that wasn't like necessarily your fault.
No, you know why? Because actually, because I remember the doctor saying to me when I found out, you know, like I said, he said, don't have any more children. You're going to be in a wheelchair for 10 years. He actually told me you need to prepare your son to be able to do certain things on his own.
Wow.
And, you know, and I was like, so I was petrified, you know, because I'm about to be in a wheelchair. Right. Who's going to be wanting to help me out and walk around? And then I got a child, and then, you know, so I was like, you know, I don't want to talk about it.
So, how have you been able to stay like positive throughout your journey with MS?
I just think that I say it's always someone out here dealing with something that's worse than what I'm dealing with. And, you know, like I said, I'm beating MS. I'm miraculously strong. That's what MS means to me. Okay. Because magnificently stronger than most people. I'm still moving. I'm still, you know, hanging out. I go out, you know. It's a good thing. You have to keep going. You can't let it make you feel like it's the end of life. And even if it is the end of life, enjoy the rest that you have.
Right.
So,
what would you say to somebody who just found out that, you know, they just got diagnosed with MS? Like, what would be, because you had a long journey. How many years? You said
25.
25 years.
Yes,
so you have a lot of knowledge and experience, a little subtle nuances, you know, what to look for. What would you say to somebody that just got diagnosed?
I would say do your research on any medicine that they say they're going to put you on. Be diligent about your health. Doctors, a lot of them are very good, but they're scientists at the beginning and end of the day. So you need to find out what it is you're putting in your system. Do you think that's going to work for you? You know, and because everyone says that there's different diets and people follow different fasts, but what we put in our body definitely helps us.
Right.
Some people it might help. Some people with MS it might not be able to. But I would start with that, keeping me healthy and making sure that I know everything that they're trying to put into my system. Okay. And make sure that you know that you can say no to anything. You don't have to be in agreement with everything that a doctor tells you.
Do you feel like at certain times like doctors try to pressure you into taking these certain medications?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You know, medicine is money. So yes.
Okay.
You know, of course they do. Especially these new trials and such. So yeah, you have to really, really be involved with what is going into you.
Okay. So this walk that's happening on next Sunday, April 28th,
yes,
2019. How long has that been around, and how long have you been a participant?
I don't know exactly how long the MS Center has, MS Walk has been going on, but I know it definitely was happening when I found out, because I remember the first year that I found out I did the walk, and that was the years of 25, of course. They used to have it on the east side, and you walk across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay.
Which was the most beautifulest thing, and then come back over, and you went all past the pier. It was like, you know, nice outing for the day. You saw a whole bunch of different things. This year, well, many years with 9/11 and everything, they had to move it in several different places. But this year, it's on the water, on the west side at Pier 92, and they're walking the neighborhood. You know, west side on West End Avenue,
Okay.
and where the park is and stuff like that. So, you know, if it's a nice day, it's a beautiful walk, you'll have fun. If it's a rainy day, it's going to be a rainy day, and you'll still have fun, because my team turns up.
What's the name of your team?
My team is magnificently strong.
Okay, and that's what you said earlier. That's what MS means to you.
Yes.
Magnificent. That's dope.
Every day I used to think of another acronym for it,
Okay.
but it had to be something positive, because I'm happy all the time, and as long as you stay happy, you can keep going. Because you have to think about it, it messes with your central nerve system, right?
Right.
So if you're aggravated, your nerves is messed up. You gotta stay happy and focus.
So are there certain like because I know you like to cook, are there certain like foods that help you like I guess deal with some of the symptoms?
Like I said, everybody is different. Like I don't really eat a lot.
Okay.
So
You
you know,
cooks.
yeah, I love to cook, but I don't eat a lot. So it, you know, like I said, some days are like, okay, I'm gonna eat, but that comes from me using cannabis. It makes me eat. It keeps it makes my, you know.
Oh, does that help you?
It does.
Okay. So is that something like your doctors told you, or you just kind of figured that out on your own?
I figured it out on my own.
Okay.
That it was much better for me. Well, one thing that it was is that you know, they used to give me a lot of pain pills like Oxy and Percocets and all kind of stuff. And I found myself, when my children were young, feeling more drugged than, you know, like, okay, I'm not in the pain, but at the same time, I'm not experiencing life either.
Okay.
So I had to look for other alternative things, and someone had told me about it. Of course, I tried it, 'cause, you know, back in the day, but I didn't realize that. So, yeah, so actually, I'm not on any pain medicines now.
Okay.
Because I just use the cannabis.
Oh, okay.
Vape. I like vape or smoke. They have edibles too, but the vape or the smoke seems to be, I would say just roll it and smoke it. Because the vape, you know, now they're talking about on the news, it's hurting your throat and all this kind of stuff. Just roll it and smoke it. Ain't nothing wrong with old school.
So are you aware of any other organizations that are involved with I guess research for MS?
Montel, who what's Jordan? No, not Jordan.
Montel
Williams, right? Montel Williams had has a society.
Okay.
Yeah, so he had one too. I'm not sure if it's still going on. I have to look into that. But yeah, he also had one, and he was doing pretty good. He was doing really well, and then he also focused like on more the natural side of things. It wasn't as commercialized as the MS Walk itself is.
Okay, so do you have like, I know a lot of people have issues with like certain cancer walks and things like that. Mm-hmm. Do you really, because you do this walk every year, like I feel like you have a confidence that this walk actually goes to a good place in research?
Yeah, I think they donate a lot with research, and besides that, monies that they raise, they also help people who have MS. Like, say for instance, if I was ill and I felt like, you know, I couldn't clean the house, or I needed help with whatever, they send the home attendants to your home, even if you didn't have insurance or whatever. They help with so many different things. They have scholarships and stuff like that for people who have MS children and whatnot. So the money is being very well spent, I believe.
Okay, that was one of my things. Anytime a walk or something, I'm always like a little skeptical, because I'm just like, man, I don't know. But what has, I guess, been the biggest challenge dealing with having your family, you know, grow up, and then sometimes like, you're getting older, you're actually getting older, and sometimes I guess some days you're feeling a little better than others. Like, how do they deal with that?
Because they grew up with it, they're sort of like, it's like nothing for them. It's like, oh, you know, they'll look and like, you know, like you'll have a day and you'll be like, Ma, you playing with your mother? And then I'll be like, they'll be like, oh, okay, you're not feeling good. Or I'll be like, they be like, stop playing, you know, you all right. You know, so they know, because they grew up, they could kind of tell what's going on. So for the most part, I don't have to really like hide it, because you know I do to some point. But no, you know what my thing is? I wait.
Okay.
I could be in pain, and I will wait until the last millimeter second before I go to the hospital to get, you know, help or anything. But I don't have to hide how I feel around my family, so that works out.
And so if you feel like you didn't have to, because you said that you want to like really telling people around like your 40th birthday, if you didn't have to tell anybody, would you?
No.
Okay, you'd kept it to yourself.
I would have kept it to myself.
Okay.
I'm sure I would have.
That's interesting because just how you, just because your overall feelings around how they would look at you, or just privacy reasons.
Probably more privacy reasons, and just because, you know, I was young and trying to do things and get myself working hard, you know, working downtown and different, Wall Street area and doing different things. But the one thing that I prided myself was in being independent,
right?
And having like my stuff was strict. That was it.
Okay.
It wasn't no left turns with it, and that was like a left turn for me. So I had to, and like I said, I didn't want people, oh, I'm so sorry, and the people make, they'll make assumptions. Like I didn't want them to feel like this was going to stop me from being successful.
Right.
So until I started dragging, I wouldn't tell no one. No one. I kept it to myself.
Okay. So, with that being said, do you have any last words to tell people about more information about the walk that's happening and your involvement with the walk and your team?
Well, I've become a team captain for a walk. It's called Magnificently Strong. I would love for anyone to come out and walk with us. We're gonna walk. We're gonna play music. We're gonna party. And after the walk, we're all getting together at a location on 116th Street and First Avenue. The name of it is Prime 116, and we're going to continue celebrating the fact that we raised money for MS and we're fighting MS, and we're keeping going.
So with that being said, I'm Malcolm. This is Nicole from Urban X. If you like any of the dope shirts that we're wearing, you can check out Urban X at NYC. That's a nice shirt, by the way. Just saying. So thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button down below, and share this video with somebody in your family or somebody you know who's dealing with MS and who needs support. We support you, even if through a screen. She understands what you're going through, and yeah, with that being said, peace.